Today, we are going to be talking about the preparation work that you should be taking for your health and why it's just as important as the preparation work that should have happened for the Triangle Shirtwaist factory employees that died back in 1911. Now, back in 1911, there were two owners, Mark Blanche and Isaac Harris, that owned the Triangle Shirtwaist factory. In that factory, there were about 600 women, all around the age of 12, that were working in those factories 12 hours a day and were severely mistreated. And the worst part about it all is on March 25th, when a fire ensued, the sprinkler systems were not set up properly to be able to extinguish the fires. The hoses were rotted, and the valves for the hoses were rusted shut because the preparation work wasn't done. And as a result of it, there were 146 women that ended up dying in that fire from having to jump out of the fifth-story building of the ash building, in which they owned the upper three floors, because only one of 4 elevators were working that was able to carry 12 capacitants at a time. Today, we are going to be talking about the prep work that should have gone into that factory and why the prep work that you do nowadays matters so much to not only be able to save your own life, but also the lives of those around you. Now, the reason why this 1911 factory fire is so important for helping us understand our own health is, well, it's a perfect analogy. The factory is exactly like our own body. And just like how Mark and Isaac, the owners of that factory, were cutting corners, it ended up coming back to bite them in the butt. And it's a very similar situation with our own health. So let's take a heart attack, for example. We know that when we have fatty deposits within our body, as well as hardened arteries, we aren't physically active, we have poor diets, we're either dealing with diabetes or we're chronic smokers, that all puts us at a much higher risk for getting a heart attack in the first place. And the recovery post-heart attack, the less healthy we are, the more difficult that whole recovery starts to become. So instead, if we don't cut corners like Mark and Isaac were doing, and we take the proper precautions to make sure that our heart is running well, it doesn't need to be every single day of the week, but it needs to be a couple times of the week where we challenge ourselves physically. We make sure that our body can continue doing the work it can now, and a little bit extra to make sure that it can continue doing what we needed to down the road. We won't be prepared for every single storm that happens in life. There's no possible way that we can predict that. But instead, if we can make our bodies resilient enough to be able to bear those storms and be able to rebuild afterwards, we're going to be so much better off. Now, all of that is great, but how do we make our bodies more resilient? This is where I would actually encourage that you start looking in the past a little bit more. What was your body able to do when you were a kid that you don't trust it to be able to do nowadays? Whether that's running, hanging on to something and carrying your own body weight. These are all fundamental things that our body should be able to perform to take care of itself. Whether it's recovering from an injury or acting when crisis does occur, for a car accident, a fire does break out. We need to be able to put in the preparation work when training to be able to perform when we need it most. And as a byproduct, it's just going to allow us to live life on our terms. So I hope this gives you an idea as to why training is so important, as well as how to go about finding the right start for yourself and what you might want to start preparing for again. Hope this helps.